Hey guys, Chad Hoover, Kayak Bassing TV. Today, I'm gonna do something that I haven't done on this channel. We're gonna get a little political. I'm gonna tell you my thoughts and views on something that's happening outside of fishing. All right guys, so right now on the hearts and minds of everybody out there is the mass shooting in Las Vegas. And I think that the number one focus for that right now should be the well-being of those families. And that is the number one priority right now. And for everybody on both sides, conservatives and Democrats that are focusing on anything else other than that right now, you're wrong. That's not what we're here to talk about today, but I did want to say that I feel like everyone should put their swords away and focus on these families that are hurting, focus on helping these families get through this tragedy, and we could figure out a way to keep things like this from happening or minimize the likelihood of them happening after that. So let's talk about what we're talking about today. Okay, so again, please pray for those families, put them in your thoughts and prayers, and do the best you can to back out of those conversations that have anything other than that at stake. But that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is this thing with our president and this thing with the NFL and this thing with respect and the line that's been drawn in our country on both sides of this issue. Now, I am not going to call one side wrong or one side right. I'm going to give you my opinion on it, and I'm quantifying my opinion as a veteran who spent 20 years in the military, as someone who spends a lot of time in the outdoors, and somebody who loves this country as much as I love anything else on the planet, because everything else I have is because of the fact that I'm blessed to be an American citizen, to have been born here, and I was blessed with the opportunity to travel around the world and see a lot of other countries that don't have what we have, and countries that do outwardly have what we have don't really have what we have. And that, to me, is this big sense of unity, this American pride, this thing that we all that resonates with us all on one side of the fence or the other. You see, the difference between myself and my opinion about certain things and what I see out there happening right now is that I don't think that you have to vilify somebody who disagrees with you. If someone doesn't agree with what you believe, that doesn't make them inherently bad. And if you don't agree with what they believe, that doesn't make you inherently bad or evil to them. What I keep seeing swung around as the sack to hit everybody with is that these guys that are kneeling down at the NFL games are disrespecting the soldiers. They're disrespecting the sailors. They're disrespecting the airmen, the military, the Marines, that whole thing. And to me, that is a overstatement of what's going on. Because honestly, there's not a guy on active duty right now or a gal on active duty that's actually doing the job of defending this country that could give two squirts about what a dude's doing on the sideline of an NFL game. There's a lot bigger things going on in their world right now. And the ones that are engaged in it are the ones that are rear support, that are doing things that allows them to be comfortable based on what the other ones are doing. So they're just Americans like we are, right? They're not out there on the tip of the spear. So here's the thing. To me, if you do something outwardly to disrespect another human, you don't really disrespect them. You disrespect yourself. So for the guys that are kneeling down to thumb their nose at someone, to me, they're disrespecting themselves. For the guys that are standing up out of a sense of, I don't want to get involved in this movement because I'm disrespecting someone else, they're buying into a bigger ideal, and I appreciate that. Here's my take on it, and here's why I believe that there is no right or wrong really in this situation. First and foremost, I wasn't raised the way a lot of folks that feel a kinship to this movement were raised. I was raised poor, and I was raised poor, white, and poor white trash in a lot of definitions in this country. And I was as close to poverty as you could get. I could see it, right? But I also wasn't persecuted. I wasn't, labeled to a certain extent. And there were a lot of opportunities that were afforded to me. So my America is different from a lot of other people's America. Their America is their America. But let me tell you what I did when I signed up to serve and what 95% of the people that sign up to serve do. We take an oath. We take an oath to protect and serve everybody, not just the ones we agree with. And so if you outwardly disrespect me when I'm doing the job of protecting you, you're not disrespecting me. You're disrespecting yourself. I don't feel like the President of the United States should be involved in football players kneeling on the sideline. I think it's given it more of a platform than it really needs. But what it's done is it's created a conversation. Here's what I feel the conversation lives and dies on. We have rights in this country that you don't have anywhere else in the world, and that right is to peacefully protest. That right is to do the things that a lot of us that fought for this country disagree with. But when we signed up, when we put that hand up and we took that oath, whether you disagree with me or not, if you're a veteran, if you're someone serving on active duty, the oath we took was to protect and defend, foreign and domestic. It wasn't to pick and choose who we protect. And so the guys that are out there fighting are fighting for the right of a guy to kneel down on the sideline of a football game. Does it make my blood boil? It did in the beginning. Does it make me feel for them that they don't see America the same way I do, that they're not proud of it, that they don't understand how good we have it? Absolutely. But you have to respect somebody's right to feel the way that they feel, and the actions that they take to express it are everything else we stand for, everything else we believe in. Even the red and white of the flag that everybody keeps quoting, the blood that was shed, it was all for naught if we don't respect other people's rights to do what it is they believe in. So do I agree with it? Absolutely not. Do I think it's the right way to do it? Absolutely not. Do I applaud the teams that knelt in peaceful protest before the anthem and then stood in unity after the anthem? Absolutely. Do I think that that was an individual decision on a lot of those people's mindset? Absolutely not. I think that that was probably a constructed approach based on a posture that the team management decided the team was going to take, and it was kind of forced down a lot of people's throat. So here's what I say. You don't have to agree, because if I said you have to agree, everything I'm saying would be hypocrisy. I don't necessarily have to agree with you to believe that you have the right to do what you do. You also don't have to agree with me to believe that I have the right to do what I do. So whether it's gun control or standing at the national anthem or burning a flag or doing any of these other things out there that, you know, as a conservative, if I was supposed to adopt the party line, it would be that I'm supposed to hate that stuff. But I wanted to have this conversation with you because, for one, I see too much divisiveness in this country. I see a lot of divisiveness in our community as fishermen and anglers, outdoorsmen, and we need to stop. And that'll start with a lot of respect across both parts. And the best way to set the example when you're saying someone is disrespecting you is to not disrespect them in return and say that they have to respect your opinion and what you believe and what you stand for in some ideal that you hold on high. Because the minute that you don't respect their right to do it, you don't have the right to ask them to respect yours. So I don't do this very often. But I went to a lot of memorial ceremonies, and I handed quite a few flags to quite a few moms for something I believe in. And what I believe in is that this country is the only place you can do those things. And the minute we start deciding and picking and choosing what you can and can't do, we unravel the very fabric that makes that flag that a lot of us say they're disrespecting. So I'm not going to applaud anyone who's doing something who's being overtly disrespectful. But I'm going to ask you, as somebody that expects that, don't reciprocate with disrespect and expect that your opinion is ever going to matter to the people that you want to see things the way you see them. So set the example. Love your brother, love your sister, love your family, love your God, love this country, and stand for what you say you believe in by acting that way, instead of trying to force your opinion down someone's throat when they don't agree with you, who you are, what you are, and why you are, because they ain't who they are based on what you experience. They're who they are based on what they experience. So I think a little tolerance will go a long ways right now. I think there's a lot of things in this country that are divisive. Let's not let this be one of them. And you know, I'm under no illusion that the President of the United States is going to watch a KayakBassFishing TV YouTube video. But if I could write a letter to the president, it would say, you know what, Mr. President, let's bring this stuff together and start driving it further apart. We're not doing this for ratings. We're doing it for real. So anyway, guys, I'm Chad Hoover, KayakBassFishing TV. I won't get political too often. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from and what I'm talking about. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. Keep it civil. Be good to each other in the comment section below as part of this brotherhood, and be good to each other out there on the streets, at the baseball games, at the football games, at the NASCAR races, and everywhere else we celebrate the awesomeness of this country by standing for the national anthem. But if the dude next to you is kneeling down and that's his way of exercising his rights, that's what we do.